Okay, so I've always wanted to do an armature in a doll, but I've never done it. So this is my first time, and I'm just going to share with you. I've already done it for the legs. I'm just going to show you on the arm how that's done. So what I'm using here is, I believe this is, it's aluminum wire, and I'm not sure what size it is. I want to say it's 12 gauge. You can use, you don't want to use like really thin jewelry wire, but you can use, you know, something substantial. This is probably 2 millimeters thick. And so what you want to do is you want to make a piece that will fit in the arm, and you're just going to unroll it slowly. And what we're essentially going to do is we're going to have a loop up here and a loop down here. So a small loop up here and a larger loop down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this, and we can always get rid of any excess we don't need, but you basically just want to make it about double the length of the arm plus a little more. So I'm just going to go a little more here and cut it. And if you make it too long, you can always cut it anyway. And I'm just using pliers, the needle nose pliers that have, these are so old, but needle nose pliers that have the wire cutter function on it, and then a pair of pliers. I already have the doll joint in the arm. So first we're going to make the armature, and then I'm going to show you how to insert it. So I'm going to come about here, and I'm going to start forming, actually a little bit further down here. Basically, you just want this to be about the same, maybe a little less than your arm here, about that size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop for the hand. And it's going to be a smallish loop. It's not going to be really large. So it's going to be about that size. And then I'm just going to twist the wire on itself. I'm just grabbing the loop and twisting like so. Okay. And I'm just going to check and see how long it is. So what I want to do is I want it to have it go up behind the doll joint. So obviously this wire is too short. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where the next loop will be. So I'm just going to make the top of the loop be about right where this doll joint is. So I'm just going to make a smaller loop about like that. So about that size. And I'm going to go ahead and snip this excess wire down here, about here. So now we have something that looks like this. So I'm just going to take my pliers here, and I'm going to twist this. Let me see if I can make it go the same way. About like this. Okay. So that that point is pretty much level with that loop. And then I'm just going to press this. Now don't freak out about these sharp ends. We're going to get rid of those. So, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so let's check the length here. So it's about, yeah, that's about perfect, this size right here. So let me just turn this. We want the loops to be facing the same direction. Right now they're not. So I'm just going to turn this loop this way, just to get it facing about the same direction here. I'm going to flatten it like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take a scrap of knit fabric, or you could use fleece. You could use felt. Fleece would be fine. I just had an old t-shirt here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it through. I'm going to take it through this hole. Okay. And I'm going to hold that down so I have a tail. And then I'm going to begin wrapping this around the wire. And that's just so you won't feel the wire, and to, you know, this wire shouldn't break. Me and my husband did a test on it. If you bend it back and forth really, really fast for a long time, it will eventually break. But I don't see a little girl, you know, just going crazy like this over and over and over, you know. Yeah, that would snap the wire. But if, you know, as long as you keep the wire cool, so what happens is the wire heats up and it stretches and then it breaks. So the faster you bend it, it just brings the integrity of the wire down. So as long as it's not being bent back and forth really fast, it shouldn't break. And we do have a doubled up on the wire, so you kind of have double the strength there. Okay, so as I'm getting down to this end that has the pokey bits, I'm just going to go wrap it around again and wrap it around again. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through this loop twice. So once and twice. And then I'm going to continue down, making sure that it's really padded right there where those wires were, and that way it should not be felt. And then you're just going to keep going down. That way this is really wrapped really good. You could use batting for this. Also, if you really wanted to pad it, I think that would be too thick though, so I think just using a piece of t-shirt or fleece will be fine. Alright, so when you get to the end, you're going to have this little tail here. You could tuck it in. I'm going to actually hot glue it because hot glue works for everything. So I'm just going to put some hot glue here, left-handed. And then just take that tail and wrap it over. It's a little hot. And that should hold that. And now all the wire is not only doubled up, it's also wrapped up to protect it even more. And, you know, as a little girl is bending the arm, you don't want her to feel the wire. So this will help that not to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to partially stuff the hand. So here's our armature. So I'm going to begin by putting some fiber fill, and I'm using Angel Silk because it doesn't show lumps as bad as the regular polyfill. So you just take this, and you want to fill the hand up. You know, you just want to put something in the end. So I filled the hand about halfway. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to put the large loop in the hand, and the smaller loop will be up here in the shoulder. And you want it to be on this side. So we're going to take this and slide it in. And just keep it oriented. Try not to let the loop go all the way to the end, just about, you know, a little shy of it. But to get it in, you might have to stretch this around like so. Alright, so now it's in there, and now I can move it around a little bit. And I'm going to keep this straight, so now it looks like this. The larger loop is here, the smaller loop is up there on this side. So now I'm going to be stuffing around this wire. And I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. And I'm going to start on the top side here and just put some polyfill in and slide it down. probably should have stuffed my thumb first right there. That's going to be kind of tricky to do. So now these doll parts, you want to stuff them very firmly. I noticed sometimes when people make Juno dolls that they don't stuff very firmly, which is fine because it's a cuddly baby. But because this is a doll that's meant to be like an American Girl style, it's going to be dressed more and handled more and played with a lot. So we need her hands and her feet to be very firm, because this is going to make it easier to dress her. So this takes a little longer to do than just regular stuffing like you would a Juno doll or an April doll, because you're really you're trying to sculpt the limb. And so you just want to check periodically that, the wire isn't getting too close to one side or the other. It looks like it's right in the middle right now. Everything feels good. So I'm going to keep stuffing this, and it'll be stuffed all the way very firmly. And I'll just show you my legs that I finished stuffing. So these are my legs, and they're very firm, and they're heavy, and they bend also. So, because the armature goes all the way through, her leg bends, in half. Or you could bend her toes up or down, and this makes putting shoes on easier, and, eventually you'd be able to help her to stand on her own, because you could change her balance and the position of her foot so that she can stand. So this is our little foot here, leg. We got 2 legs done, working on the arm. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and show you how it's done. This is completely and totally optional to do this. It's not required to put an armature in the legs and the arms simply because you're making this new doll. It's not going to be required at all. It's just an additional nice touch that I've always wanted to try, and I thought I would try it with this doll and share it with you guys so you would understand how it's done. I have not been able to find any tutorials on this, on how to do this. I just kind of had to wing it a little bit and figure it out on my own, and I hope that this was helpful, and that you'll get excited for the new doll coming out for the 2019 holiday. Thank you so much.